Welcome to an edition of Brooklyn vs. Everybody. I'm your host, Dr. Philly Kaggs, and tonight we're talking about dynamic duos in the NBA. Tonight's challengers are Mr. Bridgeside himself, Paul Liatzis.
It takes some meatballs to win on Brooklyn vs. and I got an Italian one and a Greek one to take down Chris G today.
And Chris Gudadero.
We're talking best duos in this episode, but I'm flying solo with the W in this one.
So please like, share, and subscribe to the Bridgeside Network, and may the best argument win. Welcome to an edition of Brooklyn vs. Everybody. I'm your host, Dr. Philly Kaggs. To my left, I got tonight's challengers, Chris Gudadero and Mr. Bridgeside himself, Paul Liatzis. So, before we get started, I want to give a shout out to our friends at Hardcore Italians. As you can see, we got all wearing the merch, great shirts.
Very comfortable.
Yep, you guys can go over to hardcoreitalians.com to find the shirts, and you can use the promo code Brooklyn Versus, that's Brooklyn VS, to get a little discount, and tell them that your friends at Brooklyn Versus sent you.
Tell them we sent you.
Tell them we sent you. There we go. They really got some great stuff there, but check it out. So today we're talking about dynamic duos. We're going to talk about the NBA because we got a lot of great pairings that are going on in the NBA. We're going to talk about some current pairings, but we're also going to talk about some way back, some history pairings. So we're going to start with a little history. We're going to talk about the greatest pairings of all time in the NBA. So I'm going to start with Chris. We're going to talk about the greatest pairings in NBA history. And Chris, your 30 seconds starts now.
All right, I'm going to stay with the obvious, go with Jordan and Pippen. Hardcore Italians will like that because they're from Chicago.
Oh, there you go.
But 6 rings would have been more if Jordan didn't retire that one specific year. And I think that they will still remain the greatest dynamic duo in history because you have all these different players that sign contracts and make super teams. Jordan and Pippen, they were together pretty much the majority of their career, probably almost all their career, except when Jordan went to the Wizards. Yeah. So that's a dynamic duo.
There you go. Paul, your 30 seconds starts now.
How can you argue against that? There is no other argument except Jordan and Pippen, 6 championships, 6 tries, 6 for 6. And that's the biggest thing. We've had other great duos that have went and lost, but they're 6 for 6 when they're together. Pippen proved his worth without Jordan. That's what makes him part of the dynamic duo. We all know Jordan's the best, but Pippen puts himself in the upper echelon of that secondary in the duo combination because he brought them into the second round of the playoffs, I believe, when Jordan wasn't there.
Yeah. So Paul brought up a good point with
Yes.
Pippen's worth. Do you think that Jordan would have been an amazing dynamic duo with anybody else? Because we obviously know Jordan was the Batman to Pippen's Robin.
Yes.
Do you think that Jordan could have done that with anyone else?
Anybody else? Be more specific. So anybody else in the league or on that team? Like
Let's say in the league. Let's say in the league, yeah.
In the league, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think, if he had John Stockton, if he had anybody from that time, Charles Barkley, there's a lot of guys he could have been dynamic duo with because there were a lot of teams that could have won championships. You know, the Rockets, for example, when Jordan was gone, the Knicks even made it to the finals. John Starks even possibly could have maybe did it with Jordan. I think so. Big three-point shooter.
Oh, come on. So you're telling me Jordan and Starks would have been just as successful as Jordan and Pippen?
Probably not, but they still could have. No way. 6 rings with John Starks. No way. But still, that was. There was a lot of great teams that didn't make it to the finals because the Bulls they couldn't get past Jordan and Pippen.
Chris touched on a little bit. He didn't fully elaborate on about other teams recently how they're going to stay the greatest ever. So why do you think they're going to stay the greatest ever? Do you think they'll stay the greatest ever, and why?
As long as you get that 6 for 6 championship, there's so much shuffling in the league now. They stay together. There hasn't been as much continuity as far as less parity then because it was just Bulls.
Yeah.
Now there's a lot of parity. We were complaining a couple of years ago about how on Bridgeside Sports Live we were saying how there was no parity in the league. Now it's just ridiculous.
Yep.
And but just to kind of touch on what you're with Pippen before, he was an all-around player. Like he could pass, rebound, and shoot. Jordan's not LeBron in the sense that he wasn't opening up the floor for everybody. You know, he was a scoring machine and a defensive machine. But it's not. Pippen kind of made that team complete in the sense just to get more players involved. You got those role players involved more.
All right. So I have a ruling, and if you know a lot of history between Jordan and Pippen, is that Jordan was a very, very hard person to play with. He was, and Pippen. The thing was that Pippen was just like Jordan with that intense and mean. We can even say mean and aggressive streak. So I do think that I don't think Jordan would have been able to do it with anyone else. I think that it was a type of personality. And Pippen was a great player, but I think it was also a type of personality. You had to be able to hang with Jordan. Jordan would have ate John Starks alive.
Oh, of course.
He would have, like, he's thrown people out of practice. Yeah, he's thrown people out of practice. And I do love the 6 for 6. So as you both are right, and it's close arguments, but I got to give it to somebody because you guys are saying the same one, I'm going to give the 10 points to Paul. So we're moving on to now, a lot of the NBA has been shifting towards this dynamic duo. That it's been around, as with Jordan and Pippen in the history, but now it's becoming more of a consistent thing. Players, you guys both touched on it. Players, the teams are being shuffled. Do you think this is overall a good thing for the NBA that's going on? Paul, your 30 seconds starts now.
Is it good for the league? It's good because it gives more teams chances. Like, I guess that people are jumping ship from one team to the other. It's not good for hardcore fans. You don't feel loyalty. It's good for the league because they're going to make money either way. They're going to sell jerseys. I mean, from money standpoint, sure, it's good. You're going to sell all these jerseys. You're going to, one player's going to have 4 different jerseys over time. They're going to become collectibles from other teams, as time goes on. Yeah. So the league doesn't really care because it's making headlines, and that's really the end of the story.
Yeah, we talk. The off season has become like the on season. But Chris,
did you repeat the question again?
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to hear again.
Do you think Do you think that this shuffling and making new dynamic duos, and how we touched on it, how that's what players are doing? They're just going boom, dynamic duo, dynamic duo. Do you think this is good for the NBA?
It's a tough question. Jeez. I'm gonna say. I was drawing a blank here. Let's see. I think it's good for the, yeah, right. My 30 seconds is up already.
Yeah, 10 seconds have gone away.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna say that it's not good for the league. I don't have a reason why. Okay. That's it.
Have some water, bro.
All right, so
I'm out of it.
All right, that was a rough one. I'm not gonna lie, because I agree with you. I don't think it's good for the league, and the thing is, I didn't even agree with what Paul said. Paul said that it gives a lot of teams a chance. I actually think it does the opposite. I think it only gives a certain amount of teams a chance. Say Memphis Grizzlies draft somebody, you know that he's leaving in 4 years or 5 years to go make a dynamic duo in Los Angeles or New York. Paul, don't worry. He literally gave zero argument.
I know, but I'm saying...
So
you got the
his
points.
His argument can't
win.
win.
The duos are concerned...
I mean, they just throw money. There's no loyalty or anything, so it's each player goes wherever they have the biggest contract.
Well, it's better than super teams is what I'm trying. Like, it's better than having 3 or 4 super, Golden State Warriors, spreading it out. It goes back to old NBA Jam style now, where you get those dynamic duos.
You pick your own all-star team, pretty much.
What? All right, well, I have to give it to Paul. I didn't even like his argument, man.
I don't know.
I didn't agree with him.
I didn't like that question. I didn't like that question.
Okay, well, you didn't like the question, but still got to answer. You got to try to answer.
Nah.
Well, we're going to move on to now. We talked about a little past about the best duos. So we're going to talk about current duos. So there's been a lot of new pairings. So I'm going to leave this to Chris. Chris, you're going to start. There's been a lot of shuffling in the NBA. What would you say is the best new pairing? Your 30 seconds starts now.
All right, I do have an answer for this one. I'm going to go with LeBron James and Anthony Davis.
Let's do it. Why?
And my reason is because Anthony Davis, besides Giannis from the Bucks, I think Anthony Davis and LeBron are the 2 most talented players in the league. I do think that LeBron James, he shows in the past, I mean, obviously got hurt last year, but for 8 years in a row, he was in the NBA Finals. He did it with the Heat, then he did it with the Cavs, and he's going to do it with the Lakers. The Golden State Warriors are done. The Lakers are winning the championship this year.
Lakers are going to the championship.
That's it.
Paul, your 30 seconds starts now.
I want to say the same answer, but that's not interesting. I'm going to go with Kawhi and Paul George. You got a defensive powerhouse there. You got... What you just won the World Series. I was about to say World Series. You just won an NBA championship. This guy's won with 2 different teams. Now you put Paul George. This guy's been hungry for an actual team to win with. He couldn't do it with Russell Westbrook. It just seems like that team was anemic of ability to win a championship. But now they're a legitimate contender, and they will, and they're in LA, and they're in the spotlight, and it's going to be all about those 2 teams this year.
Okay. Paul, do you answer the questions about Paul and Paul George? I do like that you mentioned Kawhi. You mentioned the 2 of the most talented. I feel like Anthony Davis is extremely talented, but let's not forget what Kawhi just did. You know, he did an amazing thing.
He beat the wounded Warriors, not the Golden State Warriors.
He beat the wounded Warriors. That's true.
2 injured.
The Greek.
What do you think about Paul George coming off? He has rods in his leg. He's coming off 2 shoulder surgeries this offseason. Does that bring you a little worry to your dynamic duo? At least you can say LeBron, he's coming off injury, but LeBron's a freak, so he's healthy. And Davis is healthy as well.
He'll be fine.
He's done it before. He's come off of injury before and come back and done it. His name's Paul, so I'm always partial to those people.
Forget it. He lost the argument.
Just like that.
Yeah, well, you told me that his name is
trying
Paul.
to add some humor to it. Come on, I was going to get to another point.
Okay, give me the other point. It better be good.
I just think he complements him better. I just think he's a more complimentary player to Kawhi's style. I mean, Anthony Davis is just he's a big man. Like, you know, LeBron will feed him the ball. They're going to get a bunch of alley-oops, you know, like it's going to kind of be like it was the Clippers maybe with Chris Paul and Blake Griffin.
Okay.
So it's going to be a great show.
Okay.
But who's to say?
Joking about the Paul being the reason why you lost. Yeah, and Chris Paul. It's all about Paul. But
about Paul.
I do have to give the 10 points to Chris this time because Anthony Davis and LeBron do, I think, complement themselves a little more. And LeBron is just the best player in the league. I still think he's the best player in the league. Even though Kawhi, I still think he has the talent above everyone. And I do have to give you the points for Kawhi and Paul are going to make some defensive duo. But I'm a little worried about Paul George. He's got a lot of injuries. Let's see how it works out in that trade.
And they don't have anybody else on the Lakers. How are they going to win?
We're just talking about duo, not team.
They just got DeMarcus Cousins.
Duo,
He'll
not
be a
team.
big
But they're going
help.
to be judged on wins at the
I
end of the
agree.
day.
I agree. But, all right. So we're coming in. We got 20. We got 10. Still anybody's matchup here, Chris.
All right.
All right. So we've been talking about dynamic duos, and we're going to talk about, that's going to be the challenges. I'm going to give you one guy from a duo. We're going to keep it to the NBA, and you're going to have to give me the other player. I tried to make some a little obscure, so if it gets too obscure, I'll give the team. I don't think it's going to be that obscure, but some are going to be slam dunks, some aren't going to be. So.
Oh, pun intended.
Yeah, exactly.
You're putting your hand on the side or top? What do you want?
Oh,
I do like this.
All right, so there you go. We got it the same. All right.
So you named the player, and
I named the player. Tell me the other player.
All right.
So get your buzzers ready, guys.
Buzz is ready.
And we'll start with the first one. John Stockton.
Karl Malone.
Karl Malone it is. We
Best
got
of
1-0, Chris. Well, I best of 7.
All right.
Best of 7 is good to go, right?
Best of 11.
Take that off right there.
Best of 11.
Okay. Larry Johnson.
Patrick Ewing.
No.
Alonzo Mourning.
Alonzo Mourning. That's it.
Well, which team though? Larry Johnson was on
I
the Knicks.
understand, but
He wasn't a dynamic
Come on.
duo.
He
on the
wasn't a
Knicks.
dynamic
He was
duo.
past his prime.
He had
Ewing
a
was-
4-point play on the
Ewing
Knicks.
was past his prime, though, when he was on the Knicks.
All right.
Okay?
All right.
All right.
Charlotte
exactly where
Hornets.
you're going with that.
Charlotte.
The
There you
Charlotte
go.
Hornets even make the playoffs? Come on.
Okay.
NBA Jam, man.
Yeah, there you go. That's right.
Oh, that's all right. So NBA Jam.
No,
that's what we're gonna go
okay.
by.
I'm gonna dive in
All right.
deep for you guys with
All
this
right.
one. Cuttino Mobley.
Steve Francis.
Steve Francis, it is on the Houston Rockets. I told you someone gonna be a little obscure. I'm trying.
Yeah, no. Listen,
the first
it
one,
can't
John
all be
Stockton.
easy.
Yeah, that's-
Can't all be easy.
Okay. Let's see. We'll go current. I'll go current that hasn't been made this year. It was already around. Damian Lillard.
Trailblazers. Who is this?
Yep.
Who's that
You got
guy?
the team?
Oh my God.
Okay. So we're aware who it is. All right. I don't want any arguments about,
Yeah.
okay. All right.
Well, I don't know who his dynamic duo is. I'm just gonna name someone on Trailblazers.
Name someone the Trailblazers. Wow. I'll give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Seth Curry.
Seth Curry. No, that's not the guy I'm thinking of. Here we go.
Shoot. I know exactly who. I just can't think of his name right now.
Oh.
I know exactly. He's not on the team this year.
5, 4, 3. Can't give you any more hints. 2, 1.
Nah, fine.
CJ McCollum.
CJ McCollum
There
it
it
is.
is.
All
Oh,
right.
you're saying-
You got it. You got it. Okay. He was that. That's the
was
dynamic
that.
duo. We could all agree on that.
You gotta edit out my F-bomb from the Seth Curry one.
2-2.
We just did.
Okay. All right.
2-2. You know why Paul lost that one? Because he didn't fill in the blank. If he at least put a guess, he could have got it right. But so you gave the Seth Curry. That was.
But I gave the guess and I was still
That was a
wrong.
valiant effort, though. That was
Where
a
are we
valiant
at?
effort.
2-2?
We're at 2-2.
Oh my
That is
God.
2-2.
2-2, boys. All right. The next one will be. Okay, I'm gonna have to put a little caveat for this one because he's because he's had many dynamic duos. The first one that Shaq was a part of. Okay. I believe Paul got in first. Is that correct?
Double tapped it. Yeah. I mean, I felt like I got
Okay.
it. Anthony Hardaway.
Anthony Hardaway. One with the full name, too. Not even the nickname.
I wanted to get very
We need
official.
to identify dynamic duos, though.
He said the very first.
The very first one he was a
No,
part
I
of.
know, but
You don't
all
think
right,
Shaq
they were
and
a
Penny
great
were
team.
that?
Yeah, they were.
They made the finals.
That they did.
Yeah.
They did.
Okay.
I would have said Kobe though.
Was
Kobe
his
and then
first-
Dwayne Wade.
Well, he's been a lot of. I
Right?
think he was Penny.
No, that was when
I think
Penny
it
was in his prime.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
I think it was Penny,
unbelievable.
Kobe.
Still was.
I think it was
All right.
Penny, Kobe, and Wade. That's why I had to give the
Then
caveat.
LeBron.
Because if I just then he's on
Yeah.
every team known to man.
Yeah.
He's chasing it right. If I just said Shaq, you guys could have
Right.
buzzed it with anyone. So
No,
probably would
I
have
like
buzzed it
that
with
one.
Kobe. Probably would have buzzed it with Kobe. That's the first one you think of. All right. So we got a 3-2 lead.
This could be it.
This could be it. So I'm gonna go with. Let's go with Patrick Ewing.
I got that one.
Okay.
John Starks.
John Starks. That's a little New York flavor. I think that's a New York dynamic duo.
it
I won't
was.
say it's a full New York.
A lot better than Pippen.
There we go. All right. So it's
is it.
3-3. Now this is
Uh-oh.
it.
Gotta keep my
Game
hand
7.
close.
Okay. We're gonna go. Willis Reed.
I don't know. Bernard King.
Bernard King. No.
Walt Clyde Frazier,
Walt
baby.
Clyde Frazier it is. It was the New York flavor
man.
again. I had to go back to the New York flavor.
Your flavor.
I'm not gonna hold it like this anymore. I felt like I won.
And the wooden spoon survivor wins on this one.
I can't be beat.
Like,
Were they even on the same
I don't
team?
know, this
I
is
don't
like
even
Mr.
know.
Willis Reed and Walt Frazier or Willis
no.
Reed and Brick. No, they weren't. That
They
was.
weren't. It was too long ago.
That was
right?
yeah, it was their eras crossed. Bernard King might have been in high school when Willis Reed was
I
playing.
don't know.
I think they're the most dynamic duo New York's ever had. Willis Reed and Walt Frazier. You know, Ewing and Starks had their moments.
Yeah.
I'm not a
it's
big
not saying
Starks
much
fan.
with this Knicks team.
Should have said Houston Screamo. That's a nice dynamic duo.
I mean, that's what we grew up with.
But can Mr. Bridgeside be beat? I feel like he's becoming like Mr. McMahon all of a sudden.
I'm gonna give him a stone cold stunner.
That's
Don't
perfect.
say that.
I would love that. But anyway, that's another edition of Brooklyn versus everybody. Please tune in. Thank you for tuning in. And please like, share, and
Thank you.
subscribe to the Bridgeside Network. May the best argument always win.
Thank you, hardcore Italians.
Thank you, guys. Yeah.
Get your shirts.
Go Bridgeside.
Tonight, Mr. Bridgeside showed Chris Scudetero who scores with a score of 40-10. Here are your Brooklyn versus season standings.